Well, another Christmas is upon us. Candy canes, Santa Claus, stockings, and presents. And, of course, the annual debate about whether Die Hard is a Christmas movie or not. It is. But you know, while all this arguing is going on, there's another classic Christmas action movie that kinda skates under the radar, and that's Lethal Weapon. The film stars Mel Gibson and Danny Glover and was directed by Richard Donner in 1987. You know, you hear a lot of folks saying, "It ain't Christmas till I see Hans Gruber falling off Nakatomi Plaza." Well, you know what I say? It ain't Christmas till I see Riggs and Murtaugh gun down Mr. Joshua.
He's an easy guy to like.
Come out to the coast, we'll get together, have a few laughs.
And a hard man to kill.
Now, I love me my Die Hard, don't get me wrong, but I think there's some room at the dinner table for Lethal Weapon to grab some fixins as well. And so without further ado, here is Everything Christmas about Lethal Weapon.
What a bright time!
So right off the bat in the opening credits, we're treated to Bobby Helms' 1957 classic, Jingle Bell Rock. And while we're still in the credits, I should probably make mention of the film's writer, Shane Black, who's kinda made a career out of inserting Christmas into the most unlikely of movies. You've got Lethal Weapon, then there's The Long Kiss Goodnight from 1996, which he wrote, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang from 2005, which he wrote and directed, Iron Man 3 from 2013, which he co-wrote and directed, and finally The Nice Guys from 2016, which he also co-wrote and directed. Now, while the majority of the film doesn't take place at Christmas, there is a scene at the end that does, so I'm tossing it into the mix. Okay, so we're moving up onto this balcony, and ooh, there's a little Christmas tree and Christmas lights, that's Christmassy. Okay, the movie takes place around Christmas, so I'm not gonna keep pointing out every single Christmas decoration, just the more important ones. Alright, so we meet Homicide Sergeant Roger Murtaugh, played by Danny Glover, and his wife, played by Darlene Love. Now let's take a moment and talk about her. She is a legendary singer dating back to the early 60s with girl groups like the Crystals and the Ronettes. Now I bring her up because she performed the song Christmas, Baby Please Come Home on one of the greatest holiday albums ever, which was 1963's A Christmas Gift for You from Phil Spector. The track became her signature song, and she would go on to perform it annually on The Late Show with David Letterman for 20 years around the holiday season. So tangentially, that's pretty darn Christmassy. Anywho, let's skip ahead a bit here. We got Narcotics Sergeant Martin Riggs, played by Mel Gibson, doing an undercover cocaine bust, and the drug dealers have used a Christmas tree lot as their front.
I'll give you the best tree I got in a lot for nothing.
Hey, thanks.
But the shit's gonna cost you, 100.
It leads to a little shootout among the trees and a standoff with one of the dealers. Hey, you know Anthony Kiedis from the Red Hot Chili Peppers? That's his dad! Okay, skip ahead a bit. Later on, we get a drunk and suicidal Riggs who's still in mourning over the tragic death of his young wife. He gets ready to put a hollow point bullet in his head while Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales plays in the background.
Merry Christmas! The halls!
This was a 1979 TV special directed by longtime Looney Tunes directors Friz Freleng and Chuck Jones. The next day in the police station, we get some caroling cops.
Silent night.
And now we meet our villains of the picture, General McAllister and Mr. Joshua, played by Mitchell Ryan and Gary Busey. They show what big bad tough guys they are to a buyer named Mendez, played by Edo Ross. Then they lay out the terms for their next heroin shipment.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, right. Merry
Riggs and Murtaugh are called to the scene of a potential suicide jumper that staked himself on the roof of an office building. And among the onlookers from the street is a Santa Claus. Riggs goes up to the roof to try and talk him down.
Merry Christmas.
Leave me alone! Please leave me alone! Leave me alone!
Riggs and Murtaugh drive out to ritzy Beverly Hills to follow up a lead on a possible suspect.
Hey guys, go on in, make yourselves at home.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Merry Christmas. Yeah, Merry Christmas.
Murtaugh invites Riggs over for dinner, and afterwards they hang out in the driveway in his boat. The aforementioned Darlene Love screws in one of the Christmas lights along the top of the garage. It's a small moment, but I mention it because it does echo back later in the film. Okay, let's go ahead a bit here. Murtaugh is interrogating his old friend Michael Hunsaker, played by Tom Atkins. And what's Christmassy about this? Ooh, eggnog! Riggs is getting information from a hooker on the street when Mr. Joshua blows him through a Christmas sale window display. Don't worry, he's okay.
You wore your vest.
That's smart, kid.
But the bad guys have kidnapped Murtaugh's oldest daughter, and in perhaps my favorite shot in the entire film, Riggs and Murtaugh wait for their call, illuminated by the Christmas tree lights.
You know they're gonna kill her, don't you?
Yes.
So then a bunch of stuff happens. Anywho, Mr. Joshua eventually ends up at Murtaugh's house.
Good morning, sir.
Tell me, what day is it?
What day?
Goddamn Christmas!
So the movie that was playing on the TV before he so rudely shot it out was the 1951 adaptation of A Christmas Carol starring Alistair Sim as Ebenezer Scrooge. Murtaugh and Riggs get the drop on Mr. Joshua and plow a police cruiser right through the wall, knocking over his beautiful Christmas tree. Riggs and Mr. Joshua have a kick-ass fight on Murtaugh's front lawn. The fight ends with Riggs showing some mercy after clearly defeating Joshua, but then we get that great moment I mentioned at the top. It ain't Christmas until I see Riggs and Murtaugh gun down Mr. Joshua! So after that whole ordeal, Riggs goes to pay his respects to his beloved wife's grave.
Merry Christmas, Victoria Lynn. I love you.
He then swings around by the Murtaugh residence to deliver a little present he has for Raj.
Give this to your dad, okay? It's a present for him. Tell him I won't be needing it anymore.
It's a bullet.
Yeah, it's a bullet.
Remember that hollow point bullet he was gonna put in his head earlier?
You having a nice Christmas, though, okay?
Okay, you too.
Bye.
Murtaugh bounces out to invite Riggs in for some Christmas turkey, and in the final shot of the film, Roger screws in a Christmas light that's out above his stoop. He heads inside while Elvis Presley sings I'll Be Home for Christmas. Credits. Alright, so this flick is just a 5-star masterpiece in my books. I think I've made a strong case for its inclusion into the Christmas movie canon. I know it's the movie that I watch every single Christmas Day morning, and I'll definitely be continuing the tradition this year.
I suppose we have to register you as a lethal weapon.
I'm Eugene, this is my film show, and I wish you all the happiest of holidays with those you love the most. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next year.